live. Hello and welcome to the Unity Excel training model live demonstration, live stream. We are going to be demonstrating the Unity Excel trading model. We are going to be taking some trades. We're going to be focusing on the euro US dollar, and with me this morning, as usual, to discuss the model and give us his thoughts and opinions is Ren Vallow. How are you today, Ren?
Hey, good morning, Mark. Doing well. Doing really well. It's cold out here in Colorado, but getting an early start.
Yeah, early start for you. Yes, we're about 15 minutes off the open. We usually start for this time just before stocks open in New York at 9:30 a.m. Eastern time, and so we're about just over 10 minutes time there. But today we're going to be looking at some Forex pairs, in particular the euro US dollar, the big daddy of the Forex pairs, the most liquid, one of the most widely traded markets in the world, masses of liquidity, low spreads, and good trends as well. So we're going to be focusing on that. This morning, actually I didn't mention this before we came on air, Ren, but this morning I've got the 1 minute time frame
Perfect.
loaded up in the model. So we're going to be taking trades a little bit slower than we usually do, because I wanted to give people watching the live stream, or if you're watching this on playback, an idea of how the model operates at a more regulation trading pace. So in fact, the model can use a variety of different time frames, from the 1 minute up to the monthly, and they're all built in to MetaTrader 5, which is the platform we use to access prices and to take trades, all the way up to the monthly time frame, but we're using the fastest of the regulation time frames. So we went live last week, actually. Let's get this in early, Ron. We went live last week, didn't we, with the Unity trading model. So it is now available. If you're watching this, if you are tempted by anything you see, there is a link below this video. You can get firstly, you can get a demo version. You can get that absolutely for free. You can test it to your heart's content. And then after that, if you would like to do your live trading with Excel, your algorithmic trading, in other words, backtest, program your strategy, and then run it through Excel. You can do that using the Unity Excel trading model. And there are a couple of different plans available, which we'll talk about in a bit. So this morning we're working on the Euro USD, and what I can see, Ren, is I'm going to zoom into the chart, is we're just losing a little bit, aren't we? We can almost guarantee that at the moment the markets are still so focused on the US dollar that if this market is heading down, we can tend to assume that we're going to see a bit of weakness in the equities and stocks as well.
Yeah, there's a lot of correlation right now between the currencies and the stocks. Yeah, very, very much so.
Yeah, so we've often done the NASDAQ this morning. I'm just looking over here. You can see on the screen here, this is the MetaTrader 5 terminal. If you're not familiar, it is a nice, lightweight, easy to install terminal way of trading. Lots of brokers offer it around the world. You can see here just on the left that the NASDAQ is slightly lower than both the Dow and the S&P, which suggests to me that we might be in a little bit of a weakness moment. But in fact, if I go onto it, the NASDAQ looks pretty good.
Yeah, on the longer time frames, it looks really good this morning. Yeah, it's turning around. Yeah.
So that's the 1 minute time frame you can see on there. So if you're watching this live, please feel free to say hi in the chat and let us know any questions that you have. So I'm just getting started, looking at what is happening this morning, as we would do. Hi, Stefan. Good to see you.
Hey, Stefan. Good morning.
Morning, Stefan. How long back can you download 1 minute data on a currency? Ran, this is your area of expertise.
Okay. So as far as it's really kind of going to be dependent on your brokerage firm data connection. So if your data provider will give you 20 years of data, then you'll be able to get 20 years of data into MetaTrader. So it's really dependent on your data provider. Like, I think 20 years is pretty standard, but some brokerages, if they're giving you free data, may not offer that in the 1 minute time frame. Some like TD Ameritrade, I don't think they'll go back that far for the 1 minute. They'll go back that far for like the daily. They go back that far for like I don't know if it's maybe as far as the 30-minute, but the 1 minute, it's really dependent on your data provider more than it is MetaTrader. So hopefully that helped answer your question.
Yeah, I think the answer is, as Ren was saying, there are lots of data, but it's just dependent on the
Yeah.
data that your broker provides. If I scroll out here, and I'll zoom in again, this was your great suggestion actually, Stefan, about just focusing in on the different things that I'm talking about. So if I'm going to go back into the terminal, into the chart, you can see this now zoomed in. If I have a look here and I just see how much data is available for the euro US dollar, for example, this will depend. This will absolutely depend. If I switch that off, I'll be able to find out. This is probably not the best way to do it, but there's a decent amount of data available. In fact, that's because it keeps scrolling forward, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Is it still doing that? Yeah, this is not the best way to do it, but yeah, there's lots of data available. So it's all the data. Am I right in saying, Ren, that all the data that your broker provides, you can import into Excel?
Yes, exactly. And so in my case, my broker doesn't provide the data, so I have to buy it through like CQG. In the past, I was using Rhythmic. So yeah, you just go and a lot of times when you buy that data, they'll go back 20 plus years for 1 minute data. Is basically some of them as big as your Excel can handle. So
yeah, there should be a lot of data, and different brokers will provide. Some brokers will provide even more data, so plenty for backtesting purposes.
Yeah. The only ones who really limit, I think, are the freebie ones. Like TD Ameritrade has limits on their 1 minute data. I know for sure. But yeah, when you go to the CQG, you can pretty much request however much data you want for the time frame. I think it becomes limited when you go down to like the 1 second and micro time frames, like the tick time frames. They might not be able to pull 20 years of data for that because of the data size. But
okay, yeah, thanks, Stefan. I think we've answered your question there. So yeah, you can download it all to Excel as far as it's available to you. Okay, so yeah, thanks for that, Ren, and thanks, Stefan, for the question. So I've got back on the screen now. I have got the euro US dollar, and the bottom left of your screen is the Unity Excel trading model in its current form, and I'm going to just zoom into that, and I'm just going to go through some of the settings that I'm showing today. So firstly, you can see here at the top, you can see my cursor, the euro US dollar pair, and you've got to just, if you're setting this up, in fact, I'll just take one step back. I'll just explain how easy it is to get started with this system. So you'll download, when you sign up to Unity, what you'll get is just two things. First of all, the Excel model that you can see here, and an exe file that you run every time you want to access the price data. It doesn't install itself on your computer. All it does is run one time, and whenever you stop it, it will stop running. So it's really, really simple. So you have a folder like you can see on the screen at the moment. See here, and it looks a little bit like this. Unity Trading Model.exe. So if I'm just going to stop the installation that I've currently got running, all it's going to take is me to double click or run the exe file. You will see an output. What do you call the output, Ren?
It's kind of our debug window. Yeah, it's just a little output. It just tracks what's happening with the interface. Right now, it's showing you all the rows and columns that it's looking at for trade indications. And it's letting you know that it's ready and active to connect the data to MetaTrader 5 and Excel. So it links the two. Yep.
Yeah, exactly. So what will happen is you will, it took us about 5 seconds there to get connected. As soon as you run it, it just checks the state of the model. It checks the market that you want to trade. In this case, euro US dollar. It imports the most recent data. So it's imported all the data. If I had it switched off for 10 minutes, it would update. And there we go. So we're about to start going. We can see, if I go here onto this window that you can see on the screen, you can see if I scroll all the way down to the bottom, we're up to the minute that we are trading at the moment. And we can tell we've got the most recent data. So a couple of things, you can adjust your position size. So if you want to set a position size for a particular market, you want to trade a full lot, you want to trade half a lot, you want to trade micros, minis, whatever position size you want to fit in with your account size and the amount of risk you want to take, you can adjust it here. Now we've got a little drop down menu here that gives you all the available timeframes from the 1 minute, 2 minute, 3 minute, all the way to the monthly time frame. You can choose how long to run it for, so very, very simple there. And then you get into the more exciting stuff, how much profit target you want to set. You can set it, as you can see here, using the ATR. So I've got it set as 3 times the ATR. You can get your strategy. So we've got a couple of different strategies here. You can adjust them, and the model will adjust, the backtest rather, I should say, will adjust in real time. So you can see a sample of the most recent trade. You can select your filters, which are a little bit lower down here. And for example, I'll talk about it a bit more in a moment, but this price sector filter looks a bit like a long stochastic. You can just take out some of the trades. So some of the trades when the price is weakest, you can take some of them out and see how it affects your strategy. So we like the Euro USD, don't we, Ren?
Yes, absolutely. It's been a really good, it's been great. We used to trade just the NASDAQ for the most part, but then switched over to the currencies. It's been really nice to see. They've been trending very well lately. So they're really trendy.
Yeah. We actually, last week on the same thing, we did the NASDAQ. I still love the NASDAQ. I love the direction you get from equities. My preference is to actually have a slightly different strategy if we're trading them long, and as compared to trading them short. I think you do need a slightly different type of strategy and different settings for the strategy. But for the euro, for the currencies at the moment, we're doing exactly the same mirror image long and short, and it's working pretty well.
Yeah, it works really well. I think when we mostly were doing the demos with the NASDAQ, we were just trading long our strategies were all kind of like leaning long. And now that we have the currencies, we're going to do both.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, we spoke, didn't we, Ren, about the dollar that is pushing everything around here, but they're not totally correlated. You'll get a much more muted reaction. We're literally, as we're recording this, it's just about to see the bell here for the stocks to open. But it's not totally correlated with stocks. And in fact, all the currencies pairs, they have got their own little twist. So you do get, you do get slightly different types of strategies if you're trading currencies compared to if you're trading stocks.
Yep, and the beauty of this is you can put in your strategy in Excel very easily just by adding a column and putting in whatever indicators you want. Yeah. Either be fundamental or technical, and just program it in.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, it's a regular Excel sheet. You can do all the sort of Excel calculations that you would normally do in Excel, but you can do them and directly backtest, optimize, like I'll show a bit more in a moment, and then trade it live. So, hi John, do you have a version? There's the bell. Thanks, Ren. Do you have a version to work for TradingView or Tradeovate? I trade futures. Any options to get the benefits of this great Excel sheet? Thanks. Well, thank you for your comment and question. Ren, any thoughts about that?
Yeah, we haven't tried those platforms out yet, but if they do offer an API, it's possible to do it. We just have to look at the platform and see if they have an API that we can use to access their data, or if you have a data provider that you can connect directly to that has an API, then it's probably possible to do it, but we haven't used them yet.
Yeah, I mean, the way we would suggest it is to find a broker, and Ren, I think you've got the one that you've found that actually offers MetaTrader 5 with futures data. And who is it? You get your data provided through?
So there's a lot of different brokers in the US. I'm with AMP Global, and AMP Global lets you pretty much pick your data provider. They have a couple data providers that they let you, you can just pick through them. I'm currently using CQG. I was a Rhythmic subscriber for like 20 years, so doing both at different times. And you pay the data, and then once you do that, you can pick whatever platform you want to use with them. And so I've even talked to people who have hooked up NinjaTrader to their CQG data provider and got it working. So I think that it's really just a matter of, if you have a data provider that has an API, or the platform has an API that connects to the data, then we can probably do it.
Yeah, so theoretically possible. It depends on the API. I'll just reiterate the point that the reason we're using MetaTrader 5, we have no affiliation with them. The reason we're using is they do have a really good, really modern, really easy to tie into API, which makes it easier for us to develop something that is useful for you as a trader. So
yes.
A lot of these companies which do offer APIs, Ren, you've looked at a load of them now, they vary in quality, don't they? They are APIs, but they vary in quality and how easy it is for us to hook into them.
So one of the nice things that I liked about MetaTrader 5 when we started working with them is they take care of all the credentials. So there's no credentials being transmitted back and forth in the data pipe with this, connection. So that's a very nice feature. I know, looking at other systems and other platforms out there, they want to have credential data sent back and forth, which is a security thing. So we don't have to worry about that. Their interface is very, very straightforward. When we want to send them a trade, we just send them a trade, and they take care of it from there. So that's one of the reasons why we really like them. And they do handle currencies and futures and stocks. So pretty much the sky's the limit with that platform. It's just really about you getting the data to the platform. So, either your broker or a data provider like CQG. And again, we're not affiliated with CQG or Rhythmic, but all those guys do provide data. So,
yeah. So in the future, absolutely, we want to bring in more data sources in addition to MetaTrader 5. But for the time being, I would just recommend just to consider MetaTrader 5, because, to be honest, we've been really impressed. I had used it, but it was, well, I don't even know how long ago, probably 5, 6, 7 years since I've had MetaTrader 5 installed on my computer. I've been pleasantly surprised. It's neat, it's lightweight, it doesn't take a lot of system resources, and the API which we plug into is really easy to use, and they have lots of different brokers which offer different prices.
Yep.
But thanks for the question, John.
Yep.
Getting back to the strategy this morning, we're using our strategy 2, which is really, really easy to, first of all, to understand, because it enters on consecutive number of higher closes or lower closes, depending on the setting here. So I'm going to zoom in again, and let's have a quick look at this. So you can see here, you can see where my cursor is, strategy 2. Zoom in even further here, and you can see we've got a number after. All that means is we are entering the trade on 2 consecutive. The number is positive, so it's 2 consecutive higher closes. If I literally just enter a number into there, you can see over here our trading profile. The profile of results changes instantly in real time. Now, you wouldn't do this if you're trading this live. We're only demonstrating it today, but you can see how easy it is to get this set up for your day's trading, to find the right setup for the market you're trading. So it's a really good starting strategy. That would be 4 consecutive lower closes for a long trade. If we're going to go the other way, set it to consecutive higher closes. You can see that's how I had it set up before. That would be entering on 2 consecutive higher closes. Now the filters, I'm going to zoom into those again. You can see here, got an EMA filter here, Ren's favorite, as I always say. I've got it set to, sorry, Ren.
It looks good. I like it. It works really well.
Yeah, it does. It does. I think it works better on the currencies than it does for stocks, possibly.
Absolutely agreed. When we started going to currencies, I started using the EMA.
Yeah, so I've got it on quite a short. Got it only on 20 there. So you can literally switch it on and off with a click of a checkbox, and you can change the number of periods. So that is a 20-period EMA. You can set it to a 5-period EMA and a 50-period EMA, which doesn't improve the results. And
Yeah.
all the filter does is it means long trades only above the EMA and short trades only below.
Yeah, I
So,
think the 20 period works really well too. It's just kind of strange. The 13 works really well, and the 20 seem to work really well in all the back tests I've done with the
yeah,
currencies.
yeah. And this price sector filter, so it's not really doing an awful lot, but you can see a slight change in the profile of results. Again, this is something that if you like tinkering with your strategies, you will like this. It is a long stochastic oscillator, and you can imagine these values setting here between 0 or 100 or when a trade is allowed to take place. So if I set this to 50, it means trades can only take place when this long stochastic is greater than 50. In other words, it's showing strength. And if I set this to 0 to 50, it'd be the other way around. And trades can only take place when the stochastic oscillator was showing weakness. Again, the example is for long trades, but it's exactly the mirror reverse for shorts. So what I was doing was just taking out some of the weaker trades like that. So not taking out too many trades, but taking out some of the weaker ones.
Yep. And that's great when you look at your back test and it looks that smooth, the P&L graph. I feel very confident with that strategy, trading it and letting it run, and it's been successful. So this kind of manipulation that we're doing now is kind of what you would do in the morning before the market opens to get an idea of what the market climate is, or what's the weather for today, kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. So just a quick reminder that if you're watching this either live or on catch up, the Unity Excel training model is now available, and there are a couple of different plans which are available. And if you want to find out more information, you're not currently on the email list, there is a link below this video. Sign up there. You will have an opportunity to get the demo version first of all, and you can find out more information about getting the live version, which I'm demonstrating today.
Yep.
So I've just lost my train of thought, I'm afraid. Go on, Ren, what were you just saying?
Oh, I was just going on about the sheets, but one thing I would like to mention about them is that what we're showing is just a demonstration of a simple strategy that we put in so everyone can understand how it works. It's very easy to add your own strategy into our sheets, and if you need help with that, you're not an Excel expert, but you have a lot of experience with it and you have an idea. We can help you put that into your Excel sheet. So it's very simple. It's as simple as cutting and pasting indicators, because most of the indicators you can imagine have already been created. If you've got a custom one in your head that you've read about in a magazine or a book, and you're like, hey, I really want to try this, or it's a brand new idea no one's ever seen before, we can help you code that into the Excel sheet with very little effort at all. So it's very simple to do. And that it's fully flexible. So that's kind of one of the main advantages to using this type of trading strategy, or expert, as they call it on MetaTrader 5, because it's not a black box. You can go in and see all the different bells and whistles, adjust them, and do whatever you really want to do with it. So it's fully open, and you can see every single trade, why it was taken. If something doesn't look right, you can go back and go through the Excel formula, go through all the cells and columns and rows, and figure out what's going on. Whereas with those black box traders that other people have for algorithms, you can't see what happened. So this is fully open. You can see everything.
Exactly. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, thanks for that, Ren. And I should remind people watching as well that we do have a special package which is available at the moment. Again, sign up if you don't know about this. This is a limited edition package. We're only going to be offering it for a short while longer. You get both mine and Ren's time. We will be focused on your needs. As Ren just said, we can help you. If you want a bit more help, you can just sign up, get the Excel interface and do this all yourself. There are lots and lots of help sources to get you started with that. But if you want a bit more help to get yourself set up, get your strategy right, then Ren and I are available. But this is limited. This is time limited. This is numbers limited as well. So please, if you can think that is interesting, something you might be interested in, do get in contact. The plans are available on the website, and do get in contact with us if you need more information. Okay, I wanted to get back to Ren. You were talking about the strategy you'd been doing, but you've also been doing a load of testing, haven't you? That was
Oh
up
yeah.
towards the end of last week or the start of this week. Did you do 1,000 trades, or what testing did you do?
So I've done a lot of different types of testing, but what I was doing is taking, okay, we're currently back testing 1,000 bars. So I did a forward test of exactly 1,000 bars and just compared it in a log to make sure that everything lined up with the brokerage and how much slippage we had. And it was really, really, really good. There was only, running it through, I ran it overnight too, which is the currency markets are open 24/7 for the most part, except for like Saturday. And, it worked really well. There was a moment, and which was a good test, where the data provider was down for like, I guess it was about a minute and a half. And I don't know if they were rebooting their servers or whatever, but the whole connection with MetaTrader worked really well. You can see it in the log where it was like polling the data provider and it wasn't available, but then it came back online again. So there was about a minute and a half where it wasn't up and running. I was feeling okay that happened because we have all of the different fail safes built into it. When a trade is placed, if there was a trade that was running when the server went down, we know that the brokerage firm already has orders in there with, stop or profit targets and stop losses are already preset just in case something would get disconnected. So I felt very secure. And after looking at the forward tests, comparing to the back test that I did right before that, they matched up very, very well as far as performance went. I think I was running at around 57% win rate when I set up the back test. And then the next, after that 1,000 bars had run in the forward test, I was running right around 60% win rate, which was right in line with what I was expecting. So it worked really well.
Yeah, I mean, the overnight thing is important because quite often the strategy that you developed, we talked about overnight drift quite a few times, but we could still talk about it even more. This tendency of is particularly pronounced and discussed in terms of US stock prices rising in the out of hours, particularly the overnight period, and that's tradable with a system like
Yes.
this. You can just leave it running, like you were saying, and it's good to hear that the test was good, and you went back and found out that it had been down for a short while, but it was quickly rectified, and it just seemed an issue with the brokers rebooting something in
Yep.
the small hours.
Yep. So you can do it overnight, and it works really well. That was on the 1 minute time frame, and again, we're not recommending trading these smaller time frames, but it was just for the testing purposes on that. I do plan to do one on each one of the different time frames that MetaTrader has built into their system, just to see how it works with the data provider.
Yeah.
Like the 15-minute, the 30-minute, but that takes quite a bit of time to do that. So we're running those, and I'll let you know how it turns out.
Good. Yeah. Yeah, keep reporting back on those. So, Stefan, what happens during times of high tick volume? Will the model retry submitting an order if it is not accepted immediately?
Yes, the answer is yes, it will. And we do get rejections occasionally. There'll be a couple instances where you could run into problems. One would be where the connection to your brokerage or your data provider is being hung up by like a huge influx of volume. And the interface will definitely try and will resubmit very quickly. Within the milliseconds, it'll keep trying to put your order up there. So if you have a buy indication happening and you're trying to get into the market, it's going to keep trying until it gets into the market. And it does it quite quickly. I have seen that happen in real life, and it does work.
Okay. All right. I hope that answers the question, Stefan. And further question, when the model is live and connected to my MetaTrader 5, does it download the current price data onto the spreadsheet? So, excuse me, what you get is I think I'm correct in saying, Ren, the completed bars are showing here.
Yes, those are all complete.
I think I understand what Stefan is saying. What about the prices that are showing on the screen at this second in between the bar closing?
Okay, clarify that for me, Mark.
So does it stream directly the current bid ask price?
Okay, yes, we can get the current bid ask spread at all times. So that is possible. The way the interface is set up, if you're running on the M1, which will be your MetaTrader 5 timeframe, the one that they kind of call the 1 minute, it's going to pull the price data down every 1 minute. But with the connection, we can pull it down every microsecond if we wanted to. You can get the updated bid ask constantly, or you can get it once a minute. So you can do strategies that are based off the bid ask if you wanted to. But yeah, when you're going in below 1 minute time frame, it becomes a high frequency trading, which we're not really. This isn't really set up for high frequency trading, I don't think it would be very successful because we're not co-located with the servers. But yes, the answer is yes. You could get the bid ask spread every millisecond, but we're currently pulling it once every 1 minute, and we're not currently streaming in both at the same time. Like we're saying we're going to grab 1 minute data. We're going to show you the bid, they ask, the high, the highs, the lows, all the price data in that 1 minute. But we're not constantly updating it. But you could do it if you wanted to.
What would be the technical issues? I've got on the screen at the moment the zoomed in version of the terminal. You can see here it's even on the 1 minute chart, it is actually hard to see the difference between the bid ask because it's very, very tight. Other markets will be quite different, of course. What would be the technical issues of streaming in that? So we had it's displaying somewhere in the sheet the very, very current bid and ask, depending on whether we want to go long or short.
It's not really a technical challenge at all if you just want to display it. If you're trading off of it, that's kind of like what we call tick data. It's like it's the instant data that's being published by the broker or the data provider. And so yeah, we can. It's not technically difficult to do that in any way. We can easily do that. Yeah, but it be a lot more data coming into your sheet than we're currently pulling on the 1 minute. If you're doing the demo at home and you set the demo to like 1 second, you'll see exactly what you see on the screen being populated on your trading sheets. You'll see the bid ask being updated just like that. So you just set it to 1 second.
Yeah, actually, that's a great point, isn't it? The demo version, the one that is available for free, it's very similar to the live version, but it is time limited, strictly time limited. But you can get these really fast second-based time frames. That will be almost the equivalent of everything you can see. It's not quite tick data, of course, but it's updating as fast as certainly this type of system is worth updating.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely. And you can see that live.
If you want to go much quicker than a minute and maybe even a minute, you might want to look at a different type of system because this data gives you much bigger sort of display. There's more calculations going on. You're going to be able to make decisions on the fly, particularly if you're looking at 5 and 15-minute time frames, hourly time frames. You can leave them to run. That is going to be the sweet spot for this type of system, all the way up to daily, even longer than daily. You can set it and forget it, switch it on at certain times of the day. You don't need to keep it running throughout the day. And this system is going to be perfect for that sort of thing.
Right. If someone was trying to make decisions on that tick data time frame with the bid ask spread, that kind of thing that you're seeing on the chart that's constantly updating, it would be possible to do. It would be a special case scenario. Like you'd want to change your Excel backtest sheet to do a lot less calculations because the sheet would be very busy at that point if you try to do the microsecond time frame. But it was something we could talk about in a special conversation.
Yeah, and we can talk about it in a future one as well once we've got that. I think we may have been talking at cross purposes. Sorry about that, Stefan. So you were saying about the open, high, low, close. Let me stream back. Let me zoom back into the spreadsheet. Yes is the answer. That's probably what I should have said right from the start. Yes, we have got the date and time in one column here, then followed by the open, high, low, close. There's no reason we're not currently doing it. You couldn't also have the volume. But yes, each bar, and it's updated every minute. If you can see it, if I go in close enough here, you see we've got the date followed by the time. Every single minute, we are importing a bar of data. So each one of those has an open, high, low, close used for the calculations of the technical indicators, for the candlesticks, for whatever type of patterns, chart patterns you like to use. You can use the open, high, low, close data.
Yep, absolutely.
Hope we got that one finally resolved. So yeah, hopefully that's answered the question. Okay, so yeah, so no further comments on that from Stefan. So we've been going on for a little while now. Ren, have you got any final thoughts? The model is not updating as quickly as it has done in previous ones because, as I said at the beginning, we're looking at the 1 minute time frame, which means it's going to evolve more slowly. We started. Don't forget, you do have to adjust for the date and time. MetaTrader 5 does not automatically adjust to your clock. It adjusts to whatever time frame the broker set. So we started at this bar here. So we've had 40 something bars worth of data since I first spoke to Ren. We came on here, so we've had about 30 bars worth of data. If I go across here, you can see what's happening.
Oh, we've had some trades. Yeah,
we certainly have. We've been taking some trades here. So we've had a couple of a couple of long trades, I should say, one of which was a losing trade, one was a winning trade. We've taken a small losing short trade, and that's what we've had so far today. So that, we've been talking at the same time and not really focusing on it, but that is what has been happening in the model, and you can see them here.
You see the trades on this?
Yes, you can see exactly. Yeah, you can see them on there.
So that's
again, yeah. So you can see them on the display here. If you want to do that, you can see them in multiple different ways, and you can make sure they're the trades that you want to be taking.
Yeah, and there's one thing about the strategy that may not be clear, but you can go from long to short directly, what we call the reversal. And Mark and I have been testing that quite heavily just to make sure that's working properly. Like if you have an indication on your spreadsheet that says, hey, we're currently in a long position and we're going to reverse to a short position. And I think there might even be an example of that right there on the screen. So the strategy does handle that quite well.
Exactly. Yeah. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, we go directly from long to short if you've got a reversal. In fact, we're showing that in a few of these trades actually here.
Yep. Yeah, that one had a reversal.
Yep. So, Stefan, can I test tomorrow? Can I test on today's data? Yep. As soon as you load up the interface, it will automatically import 1,000 rows of data. So you'll have all the data here. However you want to do it, you can get more data. We've limited it to 1,000 rows at the moment, but that is not a real limit. That's just how we've done it so far. There is absolutely no limit, as we talked about at the start, as earlier on in this live stream. There's no limit on how much data you can import into Excel. We're only saying 1,000 rows at the moment.
Yeah, it's
I think I've answered that one. Did we get any trades? Yes, we've had 3 or 4 trades, and we should currently be in a long trade at the moment. See here, I'm just going to, one final time, I'm going to zoom into the terminal before we finish for today. You can see here where I'm not sure my cursor's, here we go. So you can see my cursor now here. That was a long trade that we are still currently in. We're 1, 2, 3 bars into a long trade at the moment.
Yep. Yeah, it's not. It worked really well for a minute. Yeah.
You can see it sitting here in our tray in MetaTrader 5. So that trade has been taken by the model as we've been doing the live stream. And
you can see it also on the Excel spreadsheet as well. You want to show them on the sheet. So
exactly. Yeah. Thanks, Ren. So exactly that trade showing here, a long trade showing in the model.
And there is a comparison where it logs what your broker recorded as the price that you got plus what the Excel sheet got, so that we also have that built into the model.
Correct. So yeah, thanks again, Ren. So yeah, you can see here we have executed. If I go here, executed a buy trade. Executed a buy trade today, about 3 minutes ago, and it logs the price. We can have a look, compare the difference between the price and the price shown in Excel to account for slippage.
Yep. Yeah, so you get to see how much slippage you're getting from your broker. And that could be partly because of how far away you are from the servers, how much time it took the transmission from your order to the broker to getting filled. And you can see all that in the spreadsheet. And we've seen some really good results here. You're not getting a lot of slippage, and we're not like right next to the servers. So I'm in Colorado and you're in the UK, and we're both getting really good results.
Exactly. Yeah. So you can log whatever you want to log in the system here and do any calculations that you want to do in Excel the way you would normally do. So, Terry. Hi, Terry. Our strategy includes any, say, 5 currency pairs, an FXCM US dollar index in relation to each other with correlations. Can we pull all of this data into Excel and run the strategy? Yes, in theory, Ren?
Yeah, yes, in theory, for sure. Currently, we're only doing one, like say one symbol, one currency, one stock, one future at a time into Excel. But this could be modified to pull down more than one, and there wouldn't be any trouble doing that. But currently, the way our model is very simple. We're just doing one symbol, so you have one currency and one strategy that you're running on this Excel sheet. But like I said, it's Excel, so the sky's the limit, and you can get as complex as you want. So if you want to do correlations and all that, you could absolutely do it.
Yeah, I mean, we've said it before. Excel is perfect for correlations.
Yes.
No problem at all getting the data either. We just need to get it set up. So absolutely, Terry. Okay, so I think we're going to finish the live stream for today, Ren.
Yep, sounds good, Mark. Yeah.
Yeah. So thank you, everybody. Any final questions, pop them in there. But otherwise, we're going to finish today. If you want more information, make sure you're on that email list. It is below the video. Make sure you're on there. There are some different plans available, included a plan which we will work with you directly, but that is going to be time limited. So if you think you're interested in that, you want a bit more help, and you need more information, contact me. Otherwise, the plan is available currently. Okay.
Well, thank you for hosting today, Mark. It's been a good demonstration.
Okay, yeah, thanks, Ren. Thank you very much for your time. Stefan, if you can define it, can you program it? We would hope so.
Yes, we'll do our best.
We will certainly do our best. Yeah, absolutely. Ren always says the sky's the limit. We can do absolutely loads with this system. So we look forward to the challenge.
Yep.
Okay, well, thank you very much for everybody that's been on the live stream. Thank you very much for all your questions. Thank you, Ren. And we will be looking forward to hosting another live stream next week after the Thanksgiving holiday, which I completely forgot about. But we'll be back again next Tuesday.
Sounds good. I'm looking forward to it.
Okay. All right. Thank you very much, Ren. Bye-bye.
Thanks, Mark. Goodbye.